Writers, like you, I am thinking about what will happen next. Our stories need to jump ahead now, probably to the part where Little Red Riding Hood meets the wolf. What's the next scene, the next small moment that you need to start storytelling? Today, I want to teach you that when you are writing, you can rehearse in the middle of writing as well as at the start of it, and especially when writing a fiction story that contains several small moments or scenes. It helps to storytell or to act out each small moment before writing it, or at least to do this while writing it. Because you are all storytelling or acting out your story to get ready for writing it, I'm going to give you a few acting tips. The first tip is that when you act, you need to not only show what the character says, but also what the character does. Even little tiny actions make a big difference. The second tip is this. When you are acting or writing a story, you not only bring some characters to life, say the girl and the wolf, but you also bring the place to life. Always make sure you know where exactly your character is, what the things are that are nearby, and what the place feels like. Before I start, I want to think about where the characters are. At this point, Little Red Riding Hood is walking through the woods and she meets the wolf. So I know that they're in the woods. It might be a little chilly, which is why she has her hood on. I also think that's probably in the middle of the day. So try doing some acting with your own story. Remember, you are working on the second scene of your stories. I'll play the part of several different characters. You may watch, and then after I act out the scene, you try.
Hello, where are you going, little girl?
Oh, hi. I'm going to my grandmother's house.
Where's that?
On the other side of the woods.
You should bring your grandma some of these beautiful flowers.
Oh, that would be a wonderful idea.
Remember, acting helps bring the characters and place to life. I need to think what objects we might be holding, and also I need to feel what the place might feel like. In that scene, I imagine Little Red Riding Hood still has her pie. She might have put it in a basket so that she can carry it with one hand instead of two. I also know that in the location, there's probably lots of trees because she's in the woods. I also know that there's a beautiful flower patch somewhere nearby because the wolf mentions that Little Red Riding Hood should look at the flowers and take some to her grandmother. You might have also noticed that I shared a little bit of what the wolf was thinking in my dialogue. He went, he, because he just tricked Little Red. You might add his internal dialogue of what he thought in his head in your own writing. Little Red Riding Hood was on her way to her grandmother's house when she heard a rustling in the bushes. A wolf jumped out and asked her, "Hello, where are you going, little girl?" "Oh, hi, I'm going to my grandma's house," Little Red Riding Hood replied. "Where is that?" the wolf asked. Little Red Riding Hood said sweetly, "On the other side of the woods." The wolf looked around and said, "You should bring your grandma some of these beautiful flowers." Little Red Riding Hood looked around and saw the red and pink and purple flowers all around. "Oh, that would be a wonderful idea." Suddenly, Little Red Riding Hood was running around the flowers, picking them up and putting them in her basket. He, the wolf said. Writers, or should I say actors, the acting we do will help us discover different ways to bring the characters and place to life. We stumbled across little, tiny actions that make a big difference once we add them to our writing. Let's add these tiny details we discovered through acting to our own stories. It's time to try this on your next scene. Think about what is going to happen in your next scene and try acting it out. You can also use your planning booklet and your notes that you jotted down from our first lesson to remind you. When a person writes, he or she acts out in their mind the story they're going to write. That is, when you write, it helps to be acting the story out with your body or in your mind as you rush to get it onto the page. So right now, go back to the start of this scene in your writing. Act out the scene. Then picture what you just acted out, or picture what you could act out. Who is saying what? What is the person doing? Picture what the person is holding, where he or she is. You got it in your mind? Good. Now start writing. Your job for today is to write that second scene where Little Red Riding Hood meets the wolf. You can even continue and go on to when she has the interaction with the wolf when they're at the grandmother's house. Again, you can write it on paper and then take a picture to turn it into Dojo, or you can just type it in on Dojo yourself.